Alright guys, here are my Ireland player ratings in their game versus France. Obviously a very disappointing game for Ireland. The fans won't be happy with that. There were some players that performed okay, especially in the second half. There were some good performances in the second half. The first half was just disappointing to see, even from a neutral's perspective, looking at this Ireland team over the last few years. They just weren't the same team we've seen them play. Almost as they just started slow. There was no ruck speed. There was no accuracy. They just didn't look like the normal Ireland team we used to. And I thought some players, with given the opportunity, would really play themselves in the team. And I definitely think there's some people that played themselves into the team for another week. But I don't think there's really any players that played themselves into the team for the foreseeable future. I think the only guy I probably think really stood out to me and made a big impact that I didn't expect was Nick Timoney. I think he was phenomenal. But let's get right into the player ratings. We're going to be rating every single player. Some of them might seem harsh. Some of them might seem not harsh. Let me know, guys, if you do agree with some of them. What are your player ratings in the comments? And if you do enjoy the content, please don't forget to subscribe to help the channel grow. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and we've been overwhelmed with all the support from all the Irish fans, all the other fans from Six Nations countries, and as a neutral, I really appreciate it. So let's get right into it. Some of the ratings will be around a 6 out of 10 for players that I didn't see much of. So if a player didn't really play much or I didn't get to see much, it'll probably just be a stock standard 6 out of 10. But for other players, there might be some harsh ones. But let's get right into it. Number 1, Lochman. For Lochman, I'm just going for a straight 6 out of 10. I didn't see too much from him. I thought he was okay. The scrums weren't terrible. I mean, they didn't really get that dominated, but there was nothing to write home about. It was okay. Number 2, Dan Sheehan. I thought his lineouts were actually very accurate in those conditions, and they actually went to the back ball quite a lot. They went to the back jumpers a lot, especially for those conditions. So for Sheehan, I'm going to go for a 7 out of 10. I didn't think he didn't do anything too special, and I am going to rate them against what I think they can put out. So we know what a 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 Dan Sheehan performance looks like. So for this, I'm going to have to go for a 7. I was very impressed with the set piece. A few times he didn't really hook the ball the best at scrum time, but if you're getting pressured like that in the scrum, it is difficult. I know for a fact. So yeah, I think 7 out of 10 because his line-out throws were really on point, and he was the one guy that I thought was actually trying to make an effort and trying to get the team some go-forward ball. Number 3, Clarkson. I've also just gone for a 6 out of 10. I think the 2 props weren't disappointing. They also weren't anything special, but I mean, that's just what's going to happen with your first game. You can't expect these guys to come out in France for one of their first big caps and just really tear the house down. It's just not going to happen. Now, number 4, Joe McCarthy. I've gone for a 4 out of 10. It was not a good performance for Joe McCarthy. I think they spared him a bit of embarrassment taking him off early. It just wasn't his day. Yeah, it just wasn't his day. His handling errors all over the show. He just seemed a bit off the beat a bit, and he's a great player, and I really rate him highly. If you see my Who Should Ireland Pick videos and my preview videos, I really rate him highly, but I thought it was quite a poor performance from him, so I've gone for a 4 out of 10. Number 5, Tideburn. I've gone for a 6 out of 10. I thought he was okay. He didn't get much dominance. He's normally a guy that really dominates around the park. And you can't just expect one guy to dominate and get the front foot ball for your forwards. And I thought the whole forward pack, the starting forward pack for Ireland, really just lacked a bit of cohesion, lacked dominance, lacked a bit of aggression, and just will to go forward. And I think Tideburn, I've just gone for a 6 out of 10. It was okay. He was busy, but just not his best either. Kian Prendergast, I was actually surprised they took him off. I thought he was okay. I thought he actually played quite well. I gave him a 6.5 out of 10 for Kian Prendergast just because I thought he was going to try slow down France's ball, but it's so difficult to try fetch and try slow down ball when there's just guys flying into the ruck at such a speed and the ball's coming out as quick as lightning. It's so tough, but I thought he was actually quite busy and quite aggressive with his carries, quite aggressive with his tackles early on. Maybe some other people saw something else. Maybe the coaches saw something else that they took him off, or maybe they just needed a spark and wanted to keep on their captain. But I think Kian Prendergast was actually okay. So 6.5 for me for him, and I think he'll probably stay in the team going into next week. Josh van der Fleer, I've gone for a 6 out of 10 as well. He wasn't good, he wasn't bad. Yes, he had that one crucial knock-on, which was a good opportunity, but I thought he actually tried to get his hands on a ball quite often. He tried to do something, he just couldn't get it going. It also just wasn't his day. These aren't bad players. If I give a guy a 6 out of 10, that's normally an 8 out of 10 player, or a 4 out of 10 for Joe McCarthy. It doesn't mean that I think they're bad players. It just means that I think they just weren't there today. They just weren't up for it, or the ball just didn't bounce their way. You know what I mean? Like, it just didn't go their way. So 6 out of 10 for Josh van der Fleer. He was okay. For Caelan Doris, I've gone for a 6.5 out of 10. I thought there's so many world class forwards in this team, and none of them really stood up and actually acted and played like a world class forward. They were all just average. And coming from a neutral, I was very disappointed in the Ireland forward pack. A forward pack that I was really excited about. I was really hyping this forward pack up. I was saying it's full of athletes. It's full of guys that can counter this France forward pack. That's full of loose forwards all over. I mean, France has like 6 or 5 loose forwards playing at once, and I thought this Ireland team could be the one forward pack that could hang in with them and maybe get some dominance, but they just didn't. Now, for Jamison Gibson-Park, people might not agree, but I actually thought he had quite a good game. Obviously, if the forwards don't give you front foot ball, if they don't give you accurate rucks, if they don't give you quick ball, if you don't get that quick ball that you need as a scrum off, if you're on the back foot, it's going to be tough. But when he did get that front foot ball, he was good. He created things, he made things happen, he tried to do things, and his box kicks were actually very accurate. So I think Jamison Gibson-Park, I've gone for a 7 out of 10. And the same. I've gone the same for Sam Prendergast. I've gone for a 7 out of 10. A lot of people just don't like Sam Prendergast, and they'll go straight away and say, yo, he's bad at tackling, he had a bad game. And look, I honestly haven't rated Sam Prendergast that highly at international level, but I thought today he was one of the guys that was actually playing with a bit of confidence, playing with a bit of freedom, and actually trying to do stuff. I thought if they had front foot ball, Sam Prendergast would have looked a lot better, because yes, people will say he shouldn't have given that offload early in the game, but I thought that offload was on. And that's what I mean by Josh van der Flier. Maybe just the game didn't go his way today, because that was actually a good option from Sam Prendergast early in the game. There was a clear channel there for Josh van der Flier to run through, and he just didn't pick his eyes up. Sam Prendergast is a playmaker. He's a fly-off. He's going to look. He's going to see these little nuances. He's going to try these little offloads. And I thought it was honestly on. And I thought Ireland could have scored there. It was a big opportunity gone missing. So, yeah, I think Sam Prendergast is 7 out of 10. I thought he was good. He actually was timing his passes really well, especially in the second half. He was kind of leaving himself dry there. He was kind of getting smashed and putting himself in that position to be smashed to get other runners into a good position, but that comes with confidence. And I thought today Sam Prendergast actually took a step forward in his confidence and his attacking ability. I thought he was actually quite busy today, and so for a guy that normally doesn't really rate Sam Prendergast that high at international level, I thought he was one of the better players for Ireland today. Looking at number 11, Jacob Stockdale, I've gone for a 6.5 out of 10. Probably a big what if. Yes, he missed a horrible tackle on Louis Bielbarré, but I mean, I think anybody would miss a tackle like that. With the speed that he has, if he even shows he's going on the inside, you have to try cover that. Obviously, I thought he maybe should have tried to push him to the touchline, because he is a quick guy. Jacob Stockdale is a quick guy, and he did have the inside option, but you don't know the full story around that. There could have been poor communication from the inside at the back. He probably thought he was alone, high and dry there at the back, and he tried to make the tackle. He got skinned on the outside. Tried to tackle him, and he got Louis Bielbarré got to his limbs, and yeah, once you get to a guy's arm like that with that speed, you're not going to get tackled. So Jacob Stockdale, I've gone for 6.5 out of 10, because there were periods in the game later on when Crowley came on, and it was Crowley and Prendergast playing as the two playmakers, and the forwards got front foot ball. Jacob Stockdale started to look a bit more dangerous, and I would really like to see him play again next week, because he's a phenomenal player, and there's a big what if there, a big what if. Stuart Bukowski, I've gone for a 7.5 out of 10. I'm not really going to give 8 out of 10s. I'm just not. Maybe to 1 or 2 players, but I just can't, especially for this performance, for this caliber team. But I think Stuart Bukowski was the one guy that put his hand up. He was the only guy in the first half I really saw get meters, get dominance, get front foot ball for Ireland. And I think he's one of the guys that was probably a standout. I would like to see the ball in his hand a bit more. And when they did get the ball in his hand a bit more, it looked a lot more dangerous. And then you could also get Ringrose in space later on. So for Gary Ringrose, I've gone for a 6.5 out of 10. I thought he was quiet in the first half. He was okay. Missed a few quite easy tackles. Didn't get his normal dominance. I don't think he was as busy as he normally is. But in the second half as well, he looked a lot better. The whole backline looked a lot better once they got the front foot ball. So the forwards will definitely be probably the biggest disappointment in this game for Ireland, especially with a pack with that caliber. So I've gone for a 6.5 for Ringrose. Tommy O'Brien, I've gone for a 5.5 out of 10. He was not good today, in my opinion. For his standard, 4 turnovers for him, which is a lot for a winger. Again, I just don't think the ball bounced the right way for him today. Like, things could have gone a lot differently for him. And if early on France didn't get those tries, and Ireland did get those tries early on, or did capitalize on the opportunities, it would have been a completely different game, and these player ratings would be a lot different. But I think once France had those early tries, it almost just took the whole energy out of Ireland. And there was a lot of guys that just looked unfit, or not ready for it, or not up for it. And I think Tommy O'Brien was one of those guys that just wasn't at his best today. So a 5.5 out of 10 for him. Jamie Osborne. Now, this is a weird one, because I thought he played okay with what he was given, but he wasn't really given much. So I've gone for a 6 out of 10 as well for him. He had a great 50-22. He didn't get opportunities, but it's not his fault. He can't just go out there and create opportunities because he plays in a position that's so specific to getting the ball in a good position, in good space, with good timing, with a bit of luck as well at fullback. I mean, Ramos, on the other hand, two completely different games. So, I mean, a 6 out of 10 for Osborne. Now, looking at the bench, I thought the bench for Ireland played really well and made quite a big impact. So, for Ronan Kelleher, I've gone for a 6.5 out of 10. I mean, he didn't do too much, but he did come on and make a positive impact. For Milner, I've also gone for a 6.5 out of 10. And for Finley Beelum, I've gone for a 6.5 out of 10. So for the whole bench front row, I've gone for a 6.5 out of 10. I thought they were better than the starting front row. They came on, they made an impact. They got a clear message from the coaches, and they did deliver. So I thought the second half was much better. James Ryan, I've gone for a 7 out of 10. I thought he was really good when he came on. I've definitely seen him play better, and I think it would be an 8 out of 10 if Ireland had a better result. But for a result like this, you can't really be giving guys much higher than that. So I thought James Ryan was good today when he came on. A bit of a cheat shot in Jalibert, but I mean, a lock's going to try his luck with those types of things. He's going to try to get the highlight tackle, and I mean, if you can do it on the opposition fly half, why not? Now, Jack Conan, I've gone for a 7 out of 10 as well. I thought the loose forwards and the forwards that came on in the second half really added a lot of punch, a lot of impact. And that's why Ireland scored some good tries in the second half. That's why they looked more threatening. That's why I think Ireland could have scored 2 more tries in the second half. They could have scored 4 tries in the second half. And it was basically all responsible of the forwards getting some good go forward ball and actually playing with some aggression, with some pace as well. The bench looked a lot fitter, a lot more ready to play than the starting lineup for a lot of positions. Now, Nick Timoney, I've gone for an 8 out of 10. I thought Nick Timoney, when he came on, played really well, and I think he's just secured a spot in the team for the whole Six Nations with that performance. I think he was really good off the bench. He scored a good try. He looked like he wanted to be there. He was all over, very busy, workhorse, and I thought he was great. So 8 out of 10 for Nick Timoney, and I think he really impressed the coaches as well as me tonight. Craig Casey, I've gone for a 6 out of 10 because we didn't see much from him. He didn't get that much game time, so I was just going to have to give him a 6 out of 10. I would have liked to see more, but a 6 out of 10 for Craig Casey. Jack Crowley, I've gone for a 7 out of 10 as well. I think he came on, he tried a lot, he made a bit of an impact. I think having the two playmakers, the dual playmakers of Jack Crowley and Sam Prendergast really helped Ireland, especially getting on the front foot. I think if you had Jack Crowley on in the first half as a second playmaker option, it could have even gone much worse than it did because there was just nothing happening. There was no opportunities for anyone. There was no front foot ball. There was no pace to be played with. The forwards just didn't help the backs at all. So I think with what he had, he played very well, and I think him and Sam Prendergast in the second half together were actually quite a nice playmaking duo, the playmaking combinations, because once it gets to one side of the field, you have a good option, other side of the field, another option, and then if you play out the back, if Sam Prendergast were to play out the back to Jack Crowley, you have a great playmaker there who can put other guys in space with a good boot as well. So I thought 7 out of 10 for him, but overall, a poor performance from Ireland, especially the first half, especially the forward pack. And I just think Ireland just looked flat at the start. They didn't look at their best at all, and they're going to try bounce back next week. And I think there's going to be a much better performance next week. And I think a lot of guys will get given another go. I do think he'll go with some of the same guys again, just to see what they can do, because I think France just blew the doors off of Ireland early in the game. I think Ireland just couldn't match their pace, couldn't match their skill, and I think Ireland looked like a team that struggled to play in wet weather in the first half, and then the second half finally looked like a bit more like the Ireland we know. So yeah, guys, that is my player ratings for Ireland. I'll be doing it every single game in the Six Nations. Some of it might seem harsh, but let me know your guys' ones down below. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Let me know if you saw it different. I love all the rugby conversations, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.